We are live now.
Excellent. Thank you, Alami. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Grants Committee for August 6th, 2025, beginning at just after 10 a.m. I'll begin by calling us to order, and I will read our land acknowledgement. The Halifax Regional Municipality is located in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and traditional lands of the Mi'kmaq people. The municipality acknowledges the peace and friendship treaties signed in this territory and recognizes that we are all treaty people. We'll begin with a roll call. I'll start with myself. I'm Councillor John St. Amand for District 16, and I am also the chair of the Grants Committee. Is Joseph Allen our vice chair here?
Not yet.
All right, we're missing Joseph for the moment. Councillor David Hensby. David's not on either. All right. Councillor Virginia Hinch.
Present.
Good morning, Virginia.
Good morning.
Councillor Nancy Hartling.
Hello.
Good morning, Nancy. Darren Steeves.
No.
No Darren this morning. Hoshada Polat.
Present. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Lara White.
Present.
Good morning, Lara. Keith McDonald.
Present.
Good morning.
Morning.
And Stephanie Chassis.
Good morning.
Good morning. Representing staff this morning, we have PJ Temple, who is team lead for grants and contributions, finance and asset. And Olami is our legislative assistant, who is also clerking the meeting. Olami, just in terms of procedure, if the remaining staff representatives arrive late, you'll just let us know that they've joined us?
Sure, I will.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so first up, I'm looking for approval of the minutes. Just looking for, from the minutes from June 18th, 2025, our last meeting, looking for any errors or omissions to be noted. Seeing none, can I call for a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Lara. And a seconder.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was on mute. Sorry about that, Jean. I'll second.
All right, thank you, Nancy. All right, so we've got our mover and our seconder. All those approving the minutes say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
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 Any against, please say nay. All right, hearing none, the motion is carried and the minutes are approved. Approval of the order of business and additions or deletions. Olami, are there any additions or deletions from the clerk's office for today's agenda?
No additions or deletions received from the clerk's office.
Wonderful, thank you. So I'll similarly call for a motion to approve the agenda as we've received it. Looking for a mover and a seconder.
Move.
Thank you, Keith. Moved by Keith. And a seconder.
Second it.
Thank you, Councillor Hinch. All right, so I'll call for the question. All those in favor of the order of business, please raise your hand or say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, the motion is carried. All right, so we've got our order of business. Item number 4, business arising out of the minutes. There are none. I'll call for a declaration of conflict of interest. Are there any members of the committee needing to declare a conflict on any item on our agenda today? Hearing none. We'll move on to number 6, consideration of deferred business. There is none. Correspondence, petitions, and delegations. Madam Clerk, is there any correspondence received by the clerk's office for today's meeting?
No correspondence received from the clerk's office.
Wonderful. Thank you, Alami. 7.2, petitions. Are there any petitions that have been received by the clerk's office?
Also, no petitions received from the clerk's office.
Thank you very much. 7.3, presentations. There are none. Information items brought forward. There are none. So we'll move on to section 9, and specifically 9.1. We do have a staff report, tax relief for nonprofit organizations program fiscal year 2025-2026, proposed amendments to program schedules administrative order 2024-001-ADM. For discussion on this, we have PJ Temple, who is the team lead for grants, contributions, finance, and asset. There is no presentation, but is here to answer any questions that members of the committee may have on the staff report that was received. We'll go through one at a time through the speakers list just to identify whether or not there are folks that have questions that they would like to have addressed. We will begin with Councillor Hinch.
I don't have any questions per se. The one that stuck out to me was the daycare, Canard Street daycare. So they're no longer eligible because they're in another program. Is that my understanding, or did they take themselves out of the program themselves, or they're just no longer eligible?
Through you, Chair. They are in the program. They were listed in Appendix 1 because at the time they had about 50% of the property was leased to a third party.
Mm-hmm.
That lease has expired. It's no longer in effect. And the Children's Centre now occupy the entire building for daycare.
Mm-hmm.
So they're still in Schedule B,
Okay.
but the entire property is now subject to tax relief, whereas previously the other third party wasn't eligible.
Mm-hmm.
So in fact, they get an increase in tax relief. They remain in the program.
Okay.
And we removed them from Appendix 1 because it's not applicable anymore. So good news for them.
Oh, awesome. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No worries.
That's all I had today.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Hinch. Councillor Hartling.
Nothing for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hartling. Hoshida.
So no, I did go through it. Just a question on, I would say, what is the increase? I believe it is from 7 million to 9 million approximately. And then do we have as a city a cap on, I would say, that particular amount?
Through you, Chair. Yes, the cost of the program is increasing significantly. That's a function of several factors, some of which are within our control, others not. Pardon me, one of the principal drivers are assessment values. So as land values go up, particularly in growth areas or the urban core, that impacts the amount of tax payable, and that impacts the budget. There are a significant number of housing organizations, Schedule A, which are primarily shelters or special needs, Schedule D, which is affordable housing. And you'll also see on Schedule F, which is vacant property under development, there are a significant number of properties there that are still under development. The municipal tax rate also has an impact. If that goes up, again, the cost of the taxes increases. There's another factor that can impact us, and those are major capital projects. So if a program participant adds a $5 million expansion, or there's a redevelopment or a new build, that impacts us as well. So it's difficult for us to predict in advance of the tax rates being set, how much the program will cost. So, for example, last year we ended up being $250,000 over budget. This year, you'll see there's quite a large surplus. That's not because we padded the budget, to be blunt, but when we do our projections, the budget process starts in September. So by October, certainly into November, we're required to give some figure to the budget people for consideration to go before council. Last year, part of the reason we were over budget, there were 5 large properties, just 5 out of over 800, that had significant increases in their assessed values. And those are done by property valuation services. That cost the program, just for those 5 renewals, an additional $500,000. And then we get into the assessment values, the tax rates, and new applicants. So it's a proxy number that we best guess. So this year, for example, why are we over by so much? Well, at the time when we submitted our initial budget projection, if you will, for the program, we were looking at 8.5 tax rate. Subsequent council decision, it was lower than that. Plus, the 5 that had significant increases in their assessed value had actually appealed. So when we got the new tax roll for PBSC in January, although it didn't go back to base, it was lower. So there was some saving there. So it's a combination of all those factors that it makes it a little bit tenuous in terms of being able to pin an exact number. And so you see throughout the report, estimated. So sometimes we'll be over, sometimes we'll be under, but certainly going forward, if I look at Schedule F, vacant under development, I predict there'll be a lot of those properties actually move forward into other schedules. And that's because most of them, or a significant number, are actually almost complete in construction. But we don't, in this year's tax roll, have the number of units count. That comes from PBSC. I do expect that to be in 2026, in which case you'll see them move over. So, and a number of those are large construction projects. And as they get completed and have an occupancy permit, then PBSC is actually better able to give it a more accurate assessed value. So that's the flux as we go year to year.
Thank you very much for the explanation. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Lara.
No questions from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Lara. Keith McDonald.
No questions for me. Thank you.
And Stephanie.
Yeah, I just had a question around, it's at page 5, and it's the recommendation. It's about the ADSOM Association for Women's Property, acquired from Metro Nonprofit Housing Association. And the recommendation is that it be in addition to the 2025-2026 year for renewal. And that all makes sense to me. I guess they were on the list. They sold the property. The new property owners applied. So I certainly understand and agree with the recommendation. I just wonder under how is the mechanism, or what mechanism allows for that to proceed? Because under I had a look at the administrative order of the 2024, and it talks about the entry dates, the date you have to apply for, all of those different things. But I don't see where, and it actually talks about late entrants aren't allowed. So it could just be the wording of the report in the context of someone's basically assumed the responsibility for the property, but the way it's worded is one was removed, makes sense to me, and then the new one's added, but it's outside the timeline based on the way the report's written. And I just how do we link it to the administrative order to then approve it?
Okay, through you, Chair. Pardon me. In any given year, somebody may sell or convey their property. When that happens, eventually we find out through PBSC a change to the assessment roll. We don't remove them mid-year, but we do prorate that award. So if you're no longer the property owner in May, we'll give you April, May, but then you're not the owner. We'll remove you in the next report. In this particular case, they sold to an eligible nonprofit charity. Addison did make application by the application deadline of January 31st. They don't get any retroactive tax relief, but if their addition to the program is approved, it will be effective April 1, subject to council approval. So really what we're trying to explain there is we took one off, but we're actually adding a new owner, even though the property is identical. It's a different party. It's a different process. So it's not a renewal. The former owner is prorated. The new owner meets the criteria for the program and the deadline. Later applications technically are not accepted or considered, albeit they would be noted as declined, and either the committee or council could overturn that or amend that recommendation. But that's the standard procedure for any.
Okay, thank you. That makes sense. It's just that as worded, it talked about early January or early 2025, and that's what sort of threw me off. So thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Stephanie, and great catch. I'm next up on the list. I didn't have any specific questions other than to note that PJ, you and your team have once again done a very thorough job in this staff report and provided a really clear rationale for some of the changes that were made within the schedules as presented in the staff report. So thank you for that. If there are I'm happy to entertain another question if someone has one in response to what we've heard so far. If not, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Oh, sorry, we should probably read the motion on this one, shouldn't we? Which I do not have here. There isn't a motion articulated in the annotated agenda.
Oh, yes, so we need a mover and a seconder for the motion.
Is it the recommendation? I have it right in front of me.
Do you have it? Okay. All right. How about we give Nancy the opportunity to move the motion?
I move that it is recommended that the Grants Committee recommend that Halifax Regional Council, 1, approve the addition of 29 properties to Administrative Order 2024-001-ADM as detailed in the discussion section of this report at an estimated combined cost of $826,244 from operating account M311-8006. 2, approve an operating grant by resolution of the council for up to 2 consecutive years to transition 5 organizations leasing commercial/private property removed from the tax relief program effective April 1, 2025, as itemized in Table 2 of this report at a combined cost of $24,232 from operating account M311-8006, and 3, adopt the amendments to Administrative Order 2024-001-ADM, the tax relief administrative order as set out in attachment 3 of this report.
Thank you, Councillor Hartling. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second.
Thank you, Keith. All right, so all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand or say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All those against, please say nay. Hearing none, the motion carries. All right, so we'll move on to item 10, added items. I don't believe there are any, but I'll just confirm with Alami whether or not there's any added items.
No added items.
Okay, so date of the next meeting is September 24th, 2025. This will be an in-person meeting occurring in chambers at Halifax City Hall. I will call for an adjournment.
Adjourn.
Thank you, Councillor Hinch. All right, so we are adjourned at 10:23 a.m. On August 6th, and we will see everybody in person on September 24th, beginning at 10 a.m.